So now beer's brewed, fermented, filtered, and ready to go. This is a bright tank. All that means is it's filtered beer ready to be packaging. We now have 3 packages here, which is kind of fun. We do bottles, kegs, and cans. This is our automatic keg cleaner. So again, what's up with this is kegs are completely recyclable, but bad things can grow in them. So this is all an automated keg. First stage purges, second stage cleans and filters, third stage fills it cold. So everything's locked in there, but again, instead of doing this by hand, like there's all the conductivity meters, everything, right amount of chemicals, right amount of time. Your keg is clean, you can be safe, and it's getting it done faster. We can fill 40 half barrels an hour here, one guy. That's pretty efficient. 20 barrels an hour for one person to do.
And you used to do it more.
We used to do it by hand, and we used to call it the pinball machine. You had to hit buttons, everything had to be rolled. It's still clean, it was automated, but it was manual labor too. So now you put it on one side and it comes out the other. This is our latest investment, the can line. So actually, you know, the funny thing is, this might be the first time I've ever seen everything running. So we're finishing up some bottles on that end, labeling, and the can line's following right behind it. We're spinning the weight, and then we go one way, and I'll just finish up. So I don't know if you can hear it, but that's CO2. Sounds like like the little engine that could. Pop, 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 pop. Every can is getting filled with CO2. And that's the steamer running at 180 amperes. And that's the best steamer you'll ever have. It's right out there. So one of the things, so there's a lot of drawbacks we were discussing today. We've traditionally used a smaller bottle. Now, well, it's a 12-ounce bottle that uses less glass, it's a little lighter, everything. But now there's market forces reacting with that. Cans. So cans are starting to shrink our package, our bottle mix, which makes it hard to concentrate. But a can is 2/3 the weight. So a case of cans weighs 20 pounds versus 30 pounds for a case of bottles. We can ship 30% more. So instead of 56 on a pallet, we ship 88 cans. So over time, you know, it has its own trade-off. You know, a lot of people prefer bottles. When our bottles are running, which is right there's our bottling line. One of the things, again, is, like I said, oxygen is kryptonite to beer, so that's why you could hear the CO2 being blown in and forming a blanket over all the beers. Because you can't do that on a can. A can doesn't have the stability to pull the vacuum, so it's just really pressure in, pressure in. On the bottle line, it's the opposite. We create a vacuum, fill it with CO2. Create a second vacuum, fill it with 2. And then the bottle is filled from the bottom up, pushing out any residual atmospheric air. Then it's crowned. But both of these products are now low in oxygen, sealed. So one of the advantages we have is this long pasteurizer. A pasteurizer is basically, again, it's recyclable mechanical quality control. So we have that filled up like a bathtub, and it just recirculates 180 degree water on top. Pasteurization, 180 degrees per 1 minute is one pasteurization unit. So you're creating a shelf-stable, you're killing off any microbiologicals, any remaining yeast, and just locking that flavor in. Pasteurization has, I would say, a bad rap, but if done properly, with low oxygen levels, it has 0 long-term effects on the beer. So it's one of those things that, and all it is just constantly recycled hot water. We fill that, you know, we treat it with biocide, it's cleaned, it's kind of like running like, you know, like we're not dumping it every day, we're not flushing the water down the drain. We use that all week long. We could run 800 barrels of pasteurized beer through that. Or, you know, when we were small, 50. So now we've literally increased ourselves tenfold with the same amount of water, same amount of heat, same amount of, because all that's doing is just recirculating around, creating a shelf-stable process. A little quality control, make sure we're full. So that's very important to have your cans full, because a short fill is headspace. Headspace is oxygen, bad beer. So making sure you're within your range, and then going down the line and wasting stuff.